Hey everybody, Derek here to bring another video for The Walking Dead, countdown to the start of Season 6. And what I'm going to be doing in this video is giving my overall predictions on Morgan. Kind of trying to figure out where he was, during all this time, what he was doing, how he got to where he is now, and what that's going to mean for Alexandria and for his character in Season 6. Just in case you guys are not caught up with Walking Dead or the comics, this video will contain spoilers. Okay. So, I think personally that Morgan will get a flashback episode in Season 6. The reason I think that is because a lot has really happened with him that I think is very important for the storyline coming up. And a lot of Morgan's transformation, I feel, is going to play into a lot of what Season 6 is about. In the comics, after Rick went and found his family, they lived at the prison, Rick really forgot about Morgan. He never went back for him, things like that. And eventually, they do go back to Rick's hometown, and they find out Morgan is still there. But Dwayne's died. He became a walker. And Morgan, is pretty much like he was in the episode Clear. Crazy, unstable, very emotional about his son's death, couldn't really get a grip on reality, and even admitted to killing 4 people. And my assumption is that he used their meat in order to feed Dwayne as a walker. And I think that a lot of that is true to what Morgan is going through in the show, and I think that if they do show a flashback, we may see that, Morgan ran into some bandits or somebody. I think they'll make them bad in some way. They won't make them like innocent people. And I think that Morgan's going to kill them and basically take them back and, do what he did. Feed them to Dwayne or something along those lines. But I think that we're going to see that Morgan has killed people. There really hasn't been a confirmation of that, but I'm assuming it's implied that he probably has, and we will see that come out in Season 6. The other thing that I think that we're really going to see is exactly what led Morgan to become this person that he is now. I think Rick was the starting point, but did he meet somebody else along the way? And I think he may have. I think that there is a chance that he's met somebody or some person, people that really showed him humanity and really showed him, that people are still good, he can still be good, and a lot of what Rick, taught him that you can come back from this, Morgan, I think, embraced that, and that was the starting point. So a lot of that has led to who he is now. And what I really think about with Morgan now is that he is the kind of person who believes in humanity. I really think that he believes that the world can be a better place, that we can all work together, and that pretty much everybody is a good person that's just trying to find their way back. And I think that that's what Morgan's mission really is. I think that Morgan has a renewed purpose to go out there and really, find people, and if they're in a very bad way, he wants to help them. And I think that he really, thinks that his first mission, in a sense, is Rick. And I think that's what he's maybe doing, is that, once he got this newfound purpose, I think that he wanted to meet up with Rick and let him know how things have changed, and to, maybe think that Rick was going to help him. Because I think that Morgan has this idea of bringing the world back to, a great place, something that is livable, where everybody, overall works together. Not everybody is a killer that's, violent and dangerous. And I think that Morgan has that kind of outlook on the world right now. Now, we really don't know how many people he's run into, which, again, is a cause for concern as we go into Season 6. Because I think that Morgan, when he met up with the wolves, that guy and that other guy, he didn't kill them. He just knocked them out. His idea of all life is precious. And I think that what he's thinking is, well, I got a second chance, so everybody else deserves another chance. Everybody deserves the opportunity to really look at themselves in the mirror, realize what they did was wrong, and then, come back from that. and become somebody better. And I think that that's something that Morgan did. He used to, be very isolated, killing walkers, probably killed people, and now he's a changed man. And I think that he wants to see that happen with other people. That's why I think he let the wolves live. And I think that's what his goal is with Rick. Now seeing that Rick killed Pete, I think that he's realized that Rick has lost his way. And I think that one of his goals in season 6 is really about making Alexandria a place to live for everybody, where everybody does live in harmony. Kind of like that utopia idea. I think that Morgan really has that idea for Alexandria. But I don't think that it's any different than what, Rick wants, what Deanna wants. I think that everybody sees Alexandria as that kind of a place. The question is, can everybody get with the picture? And right now, you would think that Rick really is not with that picture. That Rick is very paranoid, that, people in here are dangerous, that, they're always trying to, plot against him to get him kicked out, to, live in this kind of fake world. Which I think that Rick eventually wants to get to that point, but also realizes that they're not anywhere close to that yet. But Morgan, I think, thinks that right now is the opportunity for us to really make this world a better place. We don't have to kill people. We have to kill the walkers because, there's no choice. And I think that Morgan realizes that the walkers are not people. They're dangerous creatures that you have to get rid of, or else they're going to bite you and infect you. But with people, I think that Morgan sees that right now is a good opportunity. However, I really think that kind of like how season 4 was a transformation point for Rick, I think that season 6 will be a transformation point for Morgan as well. I think that we're going to see little bits and pieces of this ideology chip away from him, and that he may not be as open to this all life is precious, I'm going to help people all the time mentality. Because the thing of it is, I really think that Morgan was alone for a long time, and we really don't know what he's seen. Has he seen people like the governor? Has he seen people like Terminus or the hunters who would cannibalize people alive? Has he seen the wolves? Has he, does he know what they're about? Things like that. Does he really know just how terrible some people are? And I don't think he does. I think that in many ways, because he's been isolated, he doesn't know every little thing about this world. And let's face it, if I lock myself up in a room for 10 years and then come out, the world's going to be completely different. Every year you get new terminology, new phrases, catchphrases, slang, you have new technology, new people, presidents, and everything is different, as you go along. I mean, some things will remain the same, but other things are different. And I think that Morgan is really at that point where, because he, sheltered himself in this town, he doesn't really understand everything that is going on out there. I think he's been sheltered for too long, and he has this idea of what he wants the world to be, but not as many people are going to be willing to accept that. And I mean, season 4, you saw Rick, in a sense the same way. He felt like, hey, we can make this prison a great place. I can stop killing people. I can stop killing walkers. I can stop putting myself out there and just farm and let everybody else worry about everything. And, as we saw along the way, you can't do that. The world is not ready for that yet. And we saw Rick slowly but surely shed that mentality and become what he is right now in season 5 and going into season 6. I think Morgan is going to go through a very similar transformation. Whether it's going to last the whole season, only part of the season, it's hard to say, because we really don't know how long Morgan's going to be around for. It's not like Rick where he's not going to die. I mean, let's face it. But Morgan, I think that really seeing some of the terrible things in this world, if he is exposed to that, and if he does realize that his mentality is going to get people killed just as much as Rick, then I think he's going to change his stance. Because one thing that I really want to know is, who's going to be responsible for more people getting killed this season, Rick or Morgan? And I think that both and their ideologies will put people in danger. Because I think that Morgan seems to have this idea of, well, no, we don't need to put people in danger. We don't need to do all this, do all these things. And I think that Morgan's going to be upset with the way that Rick is going about, putting people in danger. But this other ideology of Morgan, giving people chances. Rick flat out tells him, I don't, I don't, I don't give second chances anymore. I don't take chances anymore. That's what he said. Sorry. I don't take chances anymore. And I still can't tell if Morgan says, and you should, or if you shouldn't. I can't tell. It's very hard for me to hear that for some reason. But, you see that Rick, and I can understand where Rick is coming from, this idea of not giving people a second chance. I can understand that. How many times has Rick given somebody a second chance and it bit him in the butt? Shane, the governor, letting the governor go, Terminus, not killing the people at Terminus, not, going through with his original plan for the hostage. He wanted to go in and kill all the people at Grady Memorial, and instead, Beth ends up dead. And then Pete, not taking care of that right then and there like he wanted to, and letting Deanna control that. Now Reg is dead, and he had to kill Pete. Giving people second chances is a hard thing. And I think that Morgan letting the wolves go is going to come back to bite him and the rest of the community. Because we've already seen that the Red Poncho Man was killed by the wolves. And I wonder, there's that scene in the trailer where Morgan says to somebody, you keep choosing this life, you will die. And then at another point in that same scenario, I don't know if it's back-to-back, words. There may be other words exchanged that we haven't heard yet. But then he says, you get the heck out of here and you don't ever come back. Well, we see that somebody is going to come into Alexandria, and we see, somebody who we think is Carol shooting those people, Morgan and Carl, going around a house. Whether they're bandits or whether they're the wolves is hard to say, but I think that what Morgan's doing there is he's giving that person the chance to, leave and not, get killed. And if it's the wolves, then that's going to be very hard. That might end up really hurting them. Giving somebody the opportunity to come back and potentially get somebody killed. I think that if Morgan sees that his actions are going to start doing that, I think we're going to see a little bit of a change in him. I don't think it's going to be immediate, kind of like with Rick. It took the whole season for Rick to really transform into what he is in season 5. But I think that Morgan may start to stop believing in this idea of all life is precious. Because, quite frankly, people in the Walking Dead world continue to prove that they're not. The governor should not have been given the chance to leave and, come back again. The hunters should not have had the opportunity to hunt down Bob and eat his leg. And you see all of these things coming together. And I think that really, a lot of the themes of Walking Dead have been chances. Do you take a chance on this person? Do you take a chance to go to Washington, D.C.? What do you do? And your actions do have consequences. And I think that right now with Morgan, I don't think that he's realized how much a decision like that can come back and affect you. And I think that if he finds out that the wolves do kill people, and if the wolves do cause people to die in season 6, which I'm assuming they will, I think that Morgan's going to realize that some of what Rick is saying is true. That not all life is precious, that we can't always, give people another chance to mend their ways, and Morgan may have to be a little more selective. Or I think that Morgan will just try to focus his energy more on Alexandria and different individuals rather than trying to bring groups together or, something like that. But I think that it's really going to be interesting, and I think that they're going to do a very good job with Morgan's character in season 6. I was a little disappointed with the way that they treated his character in the comics. For those of you that don't know, this is a spoiler warning. When Morgan comes back, he becomes part of the group. He gets into a relationship with Michonne, but then all of a sudden he just gets killed when the walkers invade Alexandria. He gets bitten, Michonne cuts off his arm, and then he just, he dies from the bite. and there really just wasn't any symbolism for bringing him back. Like there really wasn't like this good overarching goal. I felt really let down. I just felt like they brought him back for the heck of it, and then just when they realized there was nothing they could really do with him, they killed him off, and I just didn't like that. So I'm really hoping that season 6 is the opportunity to make up for that and really make Morgan a very amazing character. And if he's meant to live for many seasons, hey, I'm all for that. If Morgan lives for the rest of the series, I'd be happy. But if he's meant to get killed off, I think that it will at least have more of a meaning than it did in the comics. So lots of exciting things coming up, and I'm very anxious for what's going to happen. So with that, I'm going to bring this video to a close. I want to thank all of you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions or comments, don't be afraid to leave them. Feel free to subscribe. I do have more videos coming. And if there are any suggestions that you would like to see for future videos, do not be afraid to suggest them. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening, and thank you very much for watching.